Well, hey everybody, thanks for joining us back here today. And Jennifer, I gotta tell you, I am so glad that you set up all of those interviews for me because holy smokes, did I learn a lot from everybody that you sent me to talk to. They had so much to say. I don't even know how to begin with all the knowledge that I learned from them.
Well, Jamie, I'm so glad that you learned so very much. Do you think you could point out two big things that you learned from all of the interviews with the characters you met?
Well, I would have to say one big thing is that when I asked them to tell me about their part in the Christmas story, they never really just talked about their part. They would hand me this book, and they told me that within the Bible, their whole story is written down so that everybody could read it anytime that they want. And so each and every person gave me the Bible to read their part of the story. So that was really neat because then I can read it again and again and again, and I can share it with people too. The other thing, and probably the biggest thing that I learned, each person's story wasn't even about them. Each person's story went back to Jesus. Each and every one of them talked about what their relationship to Jesus was in the story, and all of them were really excited about Jesus.
Yeah, and that's why baby Jesus is here, Jamie, because that's our last character, our last person to meet. Because back then, people were expecting a king. They were told that a king would save them, and they were expecting all of this pomp and circumstance and lots of fancy stuff. And then Jesus arrived, and Jesus came into the world as a tiny little baby. And the first people to know that Jesus was born were the shepherds out in the fields, who I heard were kind of stinky.
They were very stinky.
But Jesus was born and he grew up just like you and I did, and he eventually had a very important job to do, and that was to die to save us, so that one day we could spend eternity in heaven with him. Because on our own, we can't get there.
You know, another thing that I learned was they were all really excited. The shepherds were so excited to say that Jesus was born. And while I'm excited about Christmas, I'm excited about the wrong thing. I should be more excited about Jesus than I am about the presents and the cookies and the Christmas lights and all the things that we do. Instead, I want to be like the shepherds that run out and yell, Jesus is born.
Well, let's try it right now. Will you help us shout, Jesus is born?
Jesus is born!
Good job. Well, it's okay to be excited about those fun things, Mrs. Green, as long as you remember the real reason we celebrate Christmas, and that is the birth of our Savior, Jesus.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.